Hey folks, this is intended to be a bit of a follow-up to the video that I recorded the other day while I was still in the campaign. I've made a bunch of changes to this build, and we'll talk about them after a bit, but let's hop into a monolith, and hopefully it's not one of the resist types that I don't have much protection against. So yeah, like basically the idea here is that I steamroll over top of things with Warpath and have invested heavily in everything I can do to deal more fire damage and ignite damage. And oftentimes, entire packs light on fire at once whenever my scepter procs, and then when I'm rolling to an objective, I just kind of keep going, and my manifest armor will follow along behind me, cleaning up my path. So, waiting for the objective to pop up. I'm also using lunge to some extent, mostly because shield charge did really have a way of converting it into fire. And I have, thematically, I have stacked everything fire that I can do. So this is a level 75 monolith. I am working my way through the monoliths to unlock empowered monoliths. And honestly, I didn't expect this build to continue to work once I left the campaign. I've made some changes to it, and I'll talk about that in a second. Just continuing to burninate the countryside. Up and get this chest, and then probably go back over to my monolith ready room, and we'll talk about the build a bit. Okay, so click the loot, see a bunch of stuff that I don't care about. Okay, so this all started. There's a weird bug where sometimes when you mouse over an item, it doesn't pop up. Anyway, this all started when I picked up Firestarter's torch and decided I'm going to level with this thing. And truth be told, it's still a pretty formidable weapon. It's got good fire stats on it, but what you're really using this for is the 21% chance to inflict spreading flames on hit. And I'm trying to farm up another one so that I can get like one with LP on it and stack some more fire stats on it. Other than that, I have it paired with Raye's Light, which is in theory a judgment shield, but like it's got, a bunch of fire damage on it and a bunch of block effectiveness and block chance, because I'm trying to stack block, and I don't know how successful that is at a defensive layer. I've also got a Sun Wreath, which again is an item designed for, Flame Reeve, but it works great for me because it's got a lot of ignite on melee hit and a lot of fire damage over time. And Fiery Dragon Shoes, which is mostly just a lot of fire pin with ignite and increased fire damage. And, I leave a fire trail whenever I get crit. And then, unfortunately, it increases my chance to get crit, but also helps me deal with the bonus damage of the crit. I'm still wearing Jungle Queen's Chaps of Holding just because it's kind of OP to have 16 health pots. At the moment, I'm running the Code of the Erased Sentinel. I was running the Vortex Pennant, which makes me throw axes. But I'm using this to try and fix my resist problem because, like, I have a resistance problem. I am not in a good state other than fire. If this were a chieftain from Path of Exile, I'd be in beautiful shape because my fire would be pulling everything else up. But I'm going to have to figure out how to deal with that. And I think sacrificing some of my idle slots is going to be the correct answer, in addition to some of the blessings. Because I'm doing plenty of damage right now. So let's talk through the skills. Okay, so Warpath is my main damage dealer, and there's a couple things that I did. Obviously, I went down and got Unchained and Reckless Spin, which is pretty much required to make Warpath feel good, because that basically makes Warpath free. And then I also picked up 3 into Quicksilver Wind, because movement speed plus Warpath is very important because it feels sluggish otherwise. You know, use this as a travel node for bleed chance, and then Earth Scorcher turns my Warpath into a fire skill. So it loses its physical tag, gains a fire tag, and also converts all bleed chance to ignite chance. So I can stack bleed or I can stack ignite and get the same effect. Path Fire, this is just a fun ability. I don't know if this one's actually good or not. Basically, anywhere I go, I'm leaving a trail of fire that's dealing ignite stacks as people walk on it. And I think mostly this is what's allowing me to just kind of steamroll across a map, and things will die behind me as I'm going. And then I went down here to get some additional fire penetration, and then came up here, had to travel through. I would have liked to have had more Iron Reach because area feels good with Warpath. But basically what I was doing is, since I'm using a scepter, the torch that I'm wielding is a scepter, I wanted this node. Because if you're using a scepter, you get plus 40% fire penetration, which again, the more fire penetration, the better all the rest of my fire nonsense feels. And then the last thing that I did with Warpath is I picked up 4 into Winds of Justice, which means every second I'm casting a smite. And then my smite is spec'd into all the fire damage things. So, I've got, they explode on slain, and, some ignite chance and some spreading flames chance. And then come up into here and, global melee fire damage and attack speed, cast speed. So that basically every time I'm casting one of these smites, it's pinging me with a little bit of buff, but also just nuking the crap out of everything. And then, my manifest armor is basically a walking flamethrower. So I've got him inheriting stats from my armor and my helm and my shield, and he's gaining melee physical per 10% armor on chest, or 10 armor on chest, which is a decent little hit. And then coming down here, millions fire damage, and I just took 3 because I wanted to get down here to Blast Forge. And this is what I've really put a lot of points in, is his Forge Breath attack, so that he's basically like I've contemplated dropping this ignite chance node, because everything else is igniting. I don't know that I need it, and maybe buffing up my Forge Breath damage area instead. He doesn't have survival issues, so I don't know that I need to buff him anymore. And he's not really my main, like I'm not using him as a tank pet like you would normally in a zoo build. Last thing I did is I dropped the Circle of Shields to pick up Sigils of Hope. And mostly this is just, yeah, I'm mostly not casting them. I'm mostly letting Last Wish proc them because I'm dealing a bunch of hits. And I'm killing a lot of little things all the time. So a lot of times I'll dive into a pack of little things and walk out with full sigils. And then my sigils are also getting consumed when I take damage to try and heal me back. This is something I'm playing with. I don't know if it's working well. Then last, I took Lunge as a movement ability because it was the only one that really synergized with what I was doing. And this is kind of a mess. Like, Lunge is not important to the build. I was just trying to create something that feels sort of good, so I'm getting back a little bit of missing health. I just went into Impairing Strike to see how Mobilize feels when I charge into a pack. But anyway, okay, so this tree is a mess. So mostly, if I'm gonna change anything in my build, it's probably gonna be the tree. But essentially, what I tried to do was stack block nodes and also stack damage nodes, so that if there's anything that has, me dealing fire damage anywhere, I pick that up. Probably gonna drop Ring of Shields because, like, this node is good because it gives my minion increased health and armor, but also I'm never proccing these shields. Like, the 3% chance to proc a Ring of Shields is just too low. So I don't know. Paladin went for this Divine Bolt doesn't seem to do anything, so I'm gonna drop it, and probably put its point up into Phoenix Strike. And again, I'm stacking some fire damage. I really need to start reworking the tree, to try and pick up some resistances. Because I'm kind of desperate for resistances, so this is probably going to get reworked. My Sentinel tree is pretty standard. I should max this out, Juggernaut, so that I go ahead and have, maximum resist to fire. And I don't need fire, but the void I desperately need. Stalwart's really good. I could use probably another point into there. Anyway, so my passives are my least set in stone thing. But yeah, like for a build that I kind of YOLO'd, this is working pretty well. The biggest problems that I have are I have really bad health pool, and also really awful resists. So if I can fix the health pool and if I can maybe stack on some additional melee leech or something like that, so that I can help get some more health. But the problem that I run into is, like, this is the same as a Path of Exile build that's using too many uniques. So I basically have my helm, which I need levels of manifest armor on, and I've got my chest and a necklace and a ring and gloves. That's basically what I have to play with to try and fix my resistances and get my health up to a reasonable level. Right now I'm just leaning into the fact that, like, I kind of am weak but deal a lot of damage, so we'll see how long that gets me, because, at this point I can now finish off, Ending the Storm. Mostly I've just been leeching levels out of it. And then I can move up to Follow the Empire, which is level 80, and I am level 76. So I'm slowly working my way up towards empowered monoliths. And we'll see how it goes. Like, because empowered monoliths are way more brutal when it comes to needing resistances. Right now, the only thing that really feels bad is anytime I have to fight anything that's doing poison damage, because I am just getting ripped wide open from poison damage. So anyway, I wanted to record a quick follow-up, and I may actually try and cobble together a build with Last Epoch Tools, so that you can see what I'm doing. But again, I'm not real certain that, like, anything that I am doing is going to stay the same. Legitimately, like, this build started with me just going through my inventory and looking for anything that had plus fire on it. So I was using a Calamity. I was using, a bunch of stuff that's not great for a Sentinel build, but, I was just trying to deal more damage. So I've gone all in on Ignite, and I proc lots of Ignite stacks, and that whittles things down. So it's a heck of a lot of fun, but also kind of a messy build. So I wouldn't ever consider this a build guide. This is just me talking through the nonsense that I created. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will probably make another one of these once I get into Empowered to see, does this still function? Anyway, hopefully you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.